Once upon a time, in a small village named Umuoji in Nigeria. Umuoji was a peaceful place where everyone knew each other and looked out for one another. If someone needed help, the villagers would come together to lend a hand, and when there was cause for celebration, the whole village would join in, dancing and singing late into the night. Every morning, the villagers would wake up to the sound of chicken crowing and the smell of delicious food cooking on the fire. Children would run through the streets, playing games and laughing with joy. And in the center of the village, there was a big square where people would gather to chat and gossip. But beneath the surface of this idyllic village, there were secrets and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And on the day of Amaka's engagement, one of those secrets will come to light. In the village, there lived a beautiful girl named Amaka. Amaka was known throughout the village for her kindness and her bright smiles that could light up even the darkest of days. She had long, flowing hair, as dark as the midnight sky, and eyes that sparkled like the stars. Amaka lived with her parents in a cozy little house at the edge of the village. She spent her days helping her mother with chores and playing with children in the village square. But deep down, she longed for something more. She dreamed of finding true love. Across the village, there lived a young man named Emeka. Emeka was handsome and strong, with a heart of gold. He worked hard on his family's farm, tending to the crops and caring for the animals. Like Amaka, he dreamed of finding his soulmate, someone to share his life with. One day, fate brought Amaka and Emeka together at the village market. Amaka was walking in the market with her baskets, looking for ripe tomatoes and green peppers. Emeka was standing behind his stall, arranging the fruits neatly in baskets. He noticed Amaka and thought she was the prettiest girl he had ever seen. Emeka waved at Amaka and she waved back shyly. She walked over to his stall, curious to see what he was selling. Emeka greeted her with a big smile and showed her the juicy oranges and ripe bananas. Amaka's eyes sparkled with delight as she admired the fruits. Emeka told Amaka about his family's farm and how they grew the fruits and vegetables themselves. Amaka listened intently. Fascinated by his stories, she told him about her own family and how she loved helping her mother cook delicious meals with the fresh produce from the markets. As they talked, they realized they had a lot in common. They laughed and joked as they shared stories about their lives. And in that moment, they knew that they had found something special, a connection that would last a lifetime. From that day on, Amaka and Emeka were inseparable. They spent every moment together, laughing and talking as they walked through the fields or sat by the river. Their love blossomed like the flowers in the springtime, and soon they were the talk of the village. After that day in the market, Amaka and Emeka's love story bloomed like a beautiful flower. They would meet each other secretly, not letting anyone know. Sometimes, Amaka would hide behind the big mango tree near the river, and Emeka would come to meet her there. Other times, they would meet in the field at sunset, where the tall grass swayed in the gentle breeze. They would spend hours together, talking and laughing, as if they were the only two people in the world. Emeka's parents didn't know that he was meeting Amaka because they were always meeting secretly. Amaka would tell Emeka about her dreams and aspirations, and he would listen with rapt attention. And Emeka would also share his hopes and fears with Amaka, knowing that she would always understand. They promised each other that they would always be there for one another, no matter what. Their secret meetings continued for months, and their love for each other only grew stronger with each passing day. They knew that they were meant to be together, even if the rest of the world didn't understand, and so they cherished every moment they spent together, knowing that their love was something truly special. 7 years passed, and Amaka and Emeka's love only grew stronger. They knew that they were meant to be together forever, and so Emeka decided to propose to Amaka on her birthday. But before that, he wanted to take her to his parents to show them the woman he wanted to marry. One day, Emeka decided it was time for Amaka to meet his parents. He was so excited to introduce her to his family because he loved her very much and wanted them to know how special she was to him. Emeka took Amaka by the hand and led her to his family's house. His parents were sitting outside, enjoying the warm sunlight. When they saw Emeka with Amaka, they smiled warmly and welcomed her with open arms. But as they sat down to talk, Emeka's mother's smile faded away. She looked at Amaka with a stern expression and shook her head. Emeka was surprised and confused. He didn't understand why his mother was acting that way. Emeka's mother told him that she didn't think Amaka was the right girl for him. She said that Amaka came from a different background and that their family wouldn't approve of their relationship. Emeka was broken. He couldn't believe that his own mother didn't support his love for Amaka. But Emeka stood up for Amaka. He told his mother that he loved Amaka with all his heart and that he couldn't imagine his life without her. He begged his mother to give Amaka a second chance, but she refused to listen. Despite his mother's objections, Emeka knew that he couldn't let anyone come between him and the woman he loved, and so he made a promise to himself that he would do whatever it took to be with Amaka, no matter what anyone said to him. Amaka felt sad that Emeka's mother didn't like her. She wanted to show her that she was a good person and that she truly loved Emeka. So she decided to try her best to impress Emeka's mother. Amaka cooked delicious meals and brought them to Emeka's house. She cleaned and helped with house chores, hoping that it would make Emeka's mother happy. She even brought her gifts and complimented her on her beautiful clothes. But no matter what Amaka did, Emeka's mother still didn't seem to like her. She would frown and make rude comments whenever Amaka was around. Amaka felt hurt and confused. She didn't understand why Emeka's mother didn't want her to be with Emeka. Despite feeling sad, Amaka didn't give up. She continued to be kind and respectful towards Emeka's mother, hoping that one day she would change her mind. But deep down, she knew it would take more than just cooking and cleaning to win over Emeka's mother's heart. Emeka loved Amaka with all his heart, and he couldn't imagine his life without her. Despite his mother's disapproval, he refused to listen to her. He knew that Amaka was the one for him, and he was determined to be with her no matter what. One day, Emeka took Amaka by the hand and told her that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. He didn't care what anyone else thought. All that mattered to him was their love for each other. Amaka's eyes filled with tears of joy as Emeka declared his love for her. She hugged him tightly, feeling grateful to have such a wonderful man by her side. Unknown to Emeka and Amaka, Emeka's mother was not happy with their decision to be together. She was determined to break them apart, no matter what it took. So, she went to meet a native doctor, who was known for his powerful charms and potions. The native doctor listened to Emeka's mother's story and agreed to help her. He prepared a special charm that he said would make Amaka go mad on her engagement day with Emeka. Emeka's mother was thrilled. She believed that once Amaka went mad, Emeka would realize that she was not the right girl for him and would leave her. The native doctor warned Emeka's mother that the charm was very powerful and should be used with caution, but she didn't care. All she wanted was to see Amaka out of her son's life for good. So, Emeka's mother waited for the perfect opportunity to use the charm. And on the day of Amaka's engagement to Emeka, she secretly sprinkled the charm on the food and drinks that were being served at the celebration. She watched with satisfaction as everyone ate and drank, unaware of the evil portion that was slowly taking effect. Little did Emeka and Amaka know their happiness was about to be shattered by the dark magic of Emeka's mother's wicked plan. The sun was setting as the villagers gathered in the square for the grand engagement party. Everyone was laughing, dancing, and enjoying the delicious food and drinks. Emeka stood nervously, holding a small velvet box in his hand. Inside was a sparkling ring, a symbol of his love for Amaka. Amaka looked more beautiful than ever in her lovely dress. Her smile was bright, and her heart was full of joy. She had no idea that Emeka's mother had secretly sprinkled the evil charm on the food and drinks. As the music played, Emeka took Amaka's hand and led her to the center of the square. The villagers watched with excitement, knowing that Emeka was about to propose. Emeka got down on one knee, holding the velvet box up to Amaka. "Amaka," he said, his voice full of love, "will you marry me?" Tears of happiness filled Amaka's eyes. She nodded eagerly, ready to say yes, but suddenly, her smile faded. She clutched her head, feeling a strange and terrible sensation. Her vision blurred, and she felt dizzy. Amaka began to scream, her cries loud and piercing. She dropped on the ground, writhing in pain and confusion. The villagers gasped in shock and fear. No one knew what was happening to Amaka. They watched helplessly as she struggled, her eyes wild and unfocused. Emeka was devastated. He reached out to hold Amaka, trying to calm her, but she pushed him away, unable to recognize him. Her screams echoed throughout the village, and she ran off into the market, her madness taking over. In the midst of the chaos, Emeka's mother stood at the edge of the crowd, watching with a satisfied smile. She was happy, believing that her plan had worked. She thought that with Amaka gone mad, Emeka would finally forget about her and move on. Emeka, however, was heartbroken and confused. He didn't know why this was happening to his beloved Amaka. He looked around for help, his eyes filled with tears, but no one had any answers. The villagers whispered amongst themselves, wondering what could have caused such a terrible change in Amaka. As the night grew darker, Emeka vowed to find out what happened to Amaka and to bring her back. He couldn't let the love of his life to be lost to madness. He had no idea that the cause of her madness was much closer to home than he realized. And so, the mystery of Amaka's sudden madness remained unsolved, leaving the village of Umoji in a state of confusion and fear. The night was dark, and the moon was hidden behind thick clouds. Emeka couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Amaka and the terrible way she had run mad. He knew he had to find her and bring her back. He loved her too much to let her go. Early the next morning, Emeka set out to search for Amaka. He walked through the village, calling her name and asking everyone if they had seen her. The villagers were worried too, and many of them joined in the search. They looked in the fields, by the river, and in the nearby forest, but Amaka was nowhere to be found. Days turned into weeks, and still there was no sign of Amaka. Emeka was heartbroken, but he refused to give up. He knew that she was out there somewhere, and he was determined to find her. One day, as Emeka was walking through the forest, he came across an old woman sitting by a fire. She had kind eyes and a gentle smile. She asked Emeka why he looked so sad. Emeka told her about Amaka and how she had gone mad on their engagement day. He told her about his search and how he hasn't found her yet. The old woman listened carefully and then told Emeka that she might be able to help. She said that sometimes dark magic could cause madness and that there were ways to break such spells. Emeka's heart was filled with hope. He asked the old woman to tell him what he needed to do. The old woman told Emeka that he needed to find a special flower that grew deep in the forest. The flower had the power to break dark spells and bring back lost loved ones. She warned him that the journey would be dangerous and that he needed to be very brave. Emeka thanked the old woman and set off deeper into the forest. The trees were tall and thick, but Emeka didn't let that scare him. He kept walking, determined to find the flower and save Amaka. Back in the village, Emeka's mother was beginning to worry. She had seen the pain in her son's eyes and was starting to regret her actions. She had wanted to protect him, but now she realized that she only caused him more pain. She knew she had to tell Emeka the truth. As Emeka continued his journey, he thought about Amaka and all the wonderful times they had shared. He remembered her smile, her laughter, and the way her eyes sparkled when she was happy. He knew he had to be strong for her. Finally, after many days of walking, Emeka found the special flower. It was glowing in a small clearing, its petals glowing with a soft, magical light. Emeka carefully picked the flower and started his journey back to the village. When Emeka returned to the village, he went straight to the old woman. She told him how to use the flower to break the spell. Emeka thanked her and rushed to find Amaka. He knew that time was running out. Meanwhile, Emeka's mother gathered her courage and went to find her son. She knew she had to confess what she had done and help him save Amaka. She found Emeka just as he was about to leave to search for Amaka again. With tears in her eyes, she told Emeka everything about the native doctor, the charm, and her regrets. Emeka was shocked and angry, but he knew that the most important thing was to save Amaka. Emeka and his mother set off together to find Amaka. They searched high and low, calling her name and hoping she would hear them. Finally, after hours of searching, they found her sitting by the river, her eyes blank and her hair tangled. Emeka approached her gently, holding the magical flower. He whispered her name and told her that he was there to bring her back. As he placed the flower in her hand, a soft light surrounded them. Slowly, Amaka's eyes began to clear. She looked up at Emeka, and for the first time in weeks, she recognized him. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she reached out to him. Emeka hugged Amaka tightly, overjoyed to have her back. Emeka's mother watched with relief, knowing that her son and Amaka could now be happy together. She promised to make up for her mistakes and support their love. The villagers gathered around, cheering and celebrating Amaka's return. Emeka and Amaka were finally together again, their love stronger than ever, and Emeka knew they had to be careful. The journey wasn't over yet, but they were ready to face whatever comes next, hand in hand. Moral lesson: the story of Emeka and Amaka teaches us a very important lesson. True love is strong and can overcome any obstacle. Emeka and Amaka loved each other very much, and they never gave up on their love, even when things got very hard. Emeka was brave and kind, and he went on a long journey to save Amaka because he loved her so much. Another interesting story is dropping soon. Subscribe to this channel for you not to miss out. It is free.
Once upon a time, in a small village called Umuaka by the sea in Nigeria, there was a fisherman named Chidi. Chidi was a strong and kind man, but he was very poor. Every day, he would go out to the sea in a small boat to catch fish. He sold the fish at the market to make money for his family. One day, Chidi went fishing, but he didn't catch any fish. He tried and tried, but his net came up empty every time. He was very sad. As the sun began to set, Chidi decided to try one last time. He threw his net into the water and waited. Suddenly, the water began to shimmer, and a beautiful mermaid named Amina appeared. She had long, shiny hair and a tail that sparkled like diamonds. Chidi had never seen anything so beautiful in his life. "Hello, Chidi," Amina said in a sweet voice. "My name is Amina. I have seen you work very hard, but today you have no fish. I can help you." Chidi was surprised. "How can you help me, Amina?" he asked. Amina smiled. "I will give you a golden fish, but you must promise to live with me underwater for 1 month. After that, you can take the golden fish and leave." Chidi thought about it. He really needed the fish to sell at the market, so he agreed. "Okay, Amina, I will live with you for 1 month," he said. Amina took Chidi's hand and pulled him into the water. Chidi could breathe underwater, and he followed Amina to her beautiful underwater palace. The palace was made of corals and shells, and it was very pretty. Every day, Amina showed Chidi the wonders of the sea. They swam with colorful fish and played with friendly dolphins. Chidi's village was called Umuaka. It was a small village with many fishermen. Chidi's best friend was named Emeka. Emeka was very worried when Chidi went missing, and they went looking for him and they couldn't find Chidi. Then 1 month passed quickly, and Chidi was ready to go back to his village. "Amina, I have lived with you for 1 month. Can I have the golden fish now?" he asked. But Amina's smile faded. "No, Chidi, I want you to stay with me forever. I love you," she said. Chidi was shocked. "But that was not our deal," he cried. "I have family and friends on land. I cannot stay here forever." Amina became very angry. "If you will not stay with me, I will curse you." Then Chidi became sad and regretted accepting the mermaid's term of staying with her under the water for 1 month. But Amina didn't back down. She shouted with a wave of her hand. Chidi's skin turned into shiny gold. It glittered in the water like a star. Chidi became sad and more scared. He wanted to go home, but now he was cursed. He'd had to think of a way to escape. One night, while Amina was outside, Chidi found a sharp shell. He used it to cut the ropes that held him in the palace. Quietly, he swam up to the surface and climbed into his boat. When Chidi returned to his village, everyone was amazed. His skin was gold and it shone brightly. But Chidi was sad. He could not touch his family because his golden skin was hard and cold. He told them his story, and they were all very worried. Chidi knew he had to break the curse, but he did not know how. He tried many things, but nothing worked. Finally, Chidi realized he had to make a difficult choice. He could either live on land with his family, cursed with golden skin, or go back to the sea and live with Amina. Chidi decided to go back to the sea. He took a knife and swam back to Amina's palace. "Amina, I am here," he said. "I cannot live on land like this. I will stay with you." Amina was happy to see Chidi, but she saw the knife in his hand. "What are you going to do with that knife?" she asked. Chidi looked at Amina with sad eyes. "I have no choice, Amina. I cannot live like this, and I cannot stay here forever," he said. Then, with a heavy heart, he stabbed himself. Amina screamed and tried to save Chidi, but it was too late. As he drifted away, the curse began to lift. Chidi's skin turned back to normal, and he felt at peace. Because he knew he could never go back to his family. Then something unexpected happened. Chidi's body floated gently in the water. His skin, now back to normal, glowed softly in the moonlight. Amina was very sad. She cried and cried. She realized she had made a big mistake. She should not have cursed Chidi. She loved him very much, and now he is gone. Amina's tears had magic. As they fell on Chidi, something amazing happened. Chidi's eyes opened. He was alive. He looked at Amina, and she looked at him. "Amina, why did you save me?" Chidi asked. Amina cried. "I am sorry, Chidi. I was wrong. I love you so much. Please forgive me." Chidi was still very sad. "Amina, I cannot stay here. I miss my family. But I also cannot live on land with a cursed skin," he said. Amina thought very hard. She wanted to make things right. She used her magic to make a new promise. "Chidi, I will give you the golden fish. You can take it to your village and sell it. Your family will be rich, but you must come back to me every full moon and stay for one night. If you do not come back, the curse will return," she said. Chidi agreed. He took the golden fish from Amina. It was shiny and beautiful. "Thank you, Amina. I will come back every full moon," he promised. Chidi swam back to his village. Everyone was happy to see him. They were even happier when they saw the golden fish. When Chidi returned with the golden fish, Emeka was the first to welcome him. "Chidi, where have you been?" Emeka asked. Chidi smiled and said, "I was with a mermaid. She gave me this golden fish." Emeka could not believe his eyes. The golden fish was so shiny and beautiful. "This will make you rich, Chidi," Emeka said. Chidi sold the golden fish at the market. The people gave him a lot of money. Chidi used the money to build a big house. He brought new clothes and good food for his family. They were very happy. But Chidi did not forget his promise to Amina. Every full moon, he went back to the sea. His family did not understand why, but they trusted him. They knew he loved them very much. One night, when Chidi was with Amina, they talked about the future. "Chidi, what will happen when you are too old to come back?" Amina asked. Chidi held Amina's hand. "I do not know," Amina, but I will come back as long as I can, he promised. Amina smiled and hugged Chidi. She loved him very much and wanted him to be happy. We will find a way, she said. Chidi's family grew. He had many children. His oldest son was named Uche. Uche loved to hear Chidi's story about the mermaid. Papa, can I meet the mermaid one day? Uche asked. Chidi smiled. Maybe one day, Uche, but for now, it is my promise to keep, he said. As the years passed, Chidi became a grandfather. He had many grandchildren who loved him very much. They called him Papa Chidi. He told them stories about the sea and the mermaid. One day, when Chidi was very old, he called his family together. My children, I must tell you something important, he said. The family gathered around him. They loved to listen to his wise words. I have been going to the sea every full moon to see the mermaid, Amina. She is the one who gave us the golden fish. But now, I am too old to go back. I want you to remember our story and keep it alive, he said. His children and grandchildren promised to remember the story. They hugged Chidi and told him they loved him. That night, Chidi went to the sea for the last time. Amina was waiting for him. Chidi, I have missed you, Amina said. Chidi smiled. I have missed you too, Amina. But I am very old now. I cannot come back anymore, he said. Amina was very sad, but she understood. Chidi, I will always love you. You have made me very happy. Thank you, she said. Chidi closed his eyes and fell asleep in Amina's arm. He never woke up. Amina used her magic to take Chidi's spirits to a special place where they could be together forever. Chidi's family found his boat the next day. They knew he was gone, but they were not sad. They knew he was happy with Amina. They told their children and grandchildren the story of Chidi and the mermaid. It became a legend in their village. Chidi's oldest son, Uche, became a fisherman like his father. He told his children about the mermaid and the golden fish. One day, when Uche was fishing, he thought he saw a shimmer in the water. He smiled and remembered his father's story. Chidi and Amina's love story was told for many generations. It was a story of love, promises, and magic. And in the special place, Chidi and Amina lived happily ever after, watching over their family and their village.
Once upon a time, in a small city in Nigeria called Umofia, there was a man named Obinna. Obinna was married to a beautiful woman named Nkim. Nkim was a hardworking woman. She had a job in a company and was always busy. Because she was not always at home, they decided to get a housemaid. They went to a small village called Ikan and found a young girl named Nneka. Nneka was kind and hardworking. She was happy to work for Obinna and Nkim. She took care of the house, cooked the food, and did all the chores. Obinna and Nkim were happy with her work. Nkim was very busy with her work. She left early in the morning and came back late at night. She had many meetings and important things to do. Sometimes, she even traveled to other cities for her job. Because of this, she did not spend much time at home with Obinna. Obinna started to feel lonely. He missed his wife and wanted her to be at home more. But he knew that her job was important, so he did not complain. Instead, he spent more time with Nneka, talking to her and enjoying her company. One day, something very bad happened. Obinna started to like Nneka in a way that was not right. He knew it was wrong because he was married to Nkem, but he could not stop himself. He began to spend some time with Nneka, and soon they started a secret relationship. Nneka did not want to say no to Obinna because she was afraid of losing her job. She did not have anywhere else to go, so she agreed to be with him. This secret made her very sad, but she did not have a choice. As time went on, Nneka started to feel strange. She was feeling sick and tired all the time. She did not know what was wrong with her. One day, she went to the market and met an old woman who told her that she might be pregnant. Nneka was very scared. She did not know what to do. She was pregnant with Obinna's baby. She knew that if Nkem found out, it would be a big problem. She decided to keep it a secret for as long as she could. But secrets could not stay hidden forever. One day, Nkem came home early from work. She found Nneka crying in the kitchen. Nkem asked her what was wrong, but Nneka was too scared to speak. Nkem kept asking until Nneka finally told her the truth. Nkem was very angry and very sad. She could not believe that her husband had betrayed her with the housemaid. She shouted at Nneka and told her to leave the house immediately. Nneka packed her things and left, crying all the way. When Obinna came home, Nkem confronted him. She told him everything that Nneka had said. Obinna was ashamed and could not look his wife in the eyes. He knew he had made a terrible mistake. Nkem was heartbroken and could not forgive him. The house was now filled with silence and sadness. Nkem could not trust Obinna anymore. Their happy home was no longer the same. Obinna tried to apologize many times, but Nkem's heart was too hot. Meanwhile, Nneka went back to her village. She was pregnant and had no job. Her family was disappointed in her. They did not know how to help her. Nneka felt alone and scared. She did not know what the future held for her and her baby. Every day was a struggle for Nneka. She missed the life she had in the city. Even though it had ended in such a bad way, she wished things had been different. She wished she had been strong enough to say no to Obinna. Back in the city, Obinna and Nkem's marriage continued to fall apart. The trust and love they once shared had now gone. They lived in the same house, but it did not feel like a home anymore. Nkem focused even more on her work to escape the pain, and Obinna lived with regrets every day. As for Nneka, she gave birth to a baby boy. She named him Chima, which means God knows. She loved her son very much, but life was hard for them. Nneka worked very hard to take care of Chima, but she often wondered what kind of life he would have had. But life goes on, and every day is a new chance to do better, to be kinder, and to make better choices. The end of one story is just the beginning of another. Nneka loved her baby Chima very much. She did everything she could to make him happy. Even though life was hard, she never gave up. She worked on farms and did small jobs in the village. She always found a way to get food and clothes for Chima. One day, an old friend from the village, Amaka, visited Nneka. Amaka saw how hard Nneka was working and felt sad for her. She decided to help. Amaka knew a lady in the city who needed help in her shop. She told Nneka about it and said she could take Chima with her. Nneka was happy and thankful. She decided to take the job and move back to the city with Chima. She hoped that this new job would give them a better life. Back in the city, Obinna and Nkem lived like strangers. They did not talk much. The house was big and beautiful, but it felt empty and cold. Obinna missed the happy times they used to have. Nkem was always busy with work, trying to forget her pain. One night, Nkem sat alone and cried. She missed the love she once had with Obinna. She wanted to be happy again, but she did not know how. Obinna also felt sad and lonely. He wished she could turn back time and fix everything. One day, while working in the shop, Nneka met a kind old woman named Mama Nkechi. Mama Nkechi liked Nneka and Chima very much. She often came to the shop to buy things and talk to Nneka. Mama Nkechi saw how hard Nneka worked and how much she loved her son. She decided to help Nneka. Mama Nkechi had a small house with a garden. She invited Nneka and Chima to live with her. Nneka was very happy. She thanked Mama Nkechi for her kindness. Nkem decided to take some time off work to think about her life. She went to visit her family in the village. There, she told her mothers and sisters. They gave her advice and comfort. Nkem realized that she needed to forgive to be able to find peace. When she came back to the city, she talked to Obinna. She told him about her feelings and how much she wanted to be happy again. Obinna apologized once more and promised to try to make things right. They decided to work on their marriage and try to heal together. Living with Mama Nkechi was good for Nneka and Chima. Mama Nkechi loved Chima like her own grandson. She taught Nneka how to plant vegetables in the garden and cook new dishes. Nneka and Chima were happy. They felt safe and loved. One day, a man named Emeka came to the shop. He was kind and gentle. He liked Nneka and often came to talk to her. Emeka saw how much Nneka cared for Chima and admired her strength. He started helping Nneka with her work and spending time with her and Chima. Nkem and Obinna worked hard to fix their marriage. They went to counseling and talked about their feelings. Slowly, they started to trust each other again. It was not easy, but they were determined to move forward. They also decided to help others to heal from their own pain. Nkem started a group for women who were hurt by their husbands, while Obinna joined a group for men to talk about their mistakes and learn to do better as husbands. Nneka and Emeka grew closer. Emeka loved Chima and treated him like his own son. Nneka saw how much Emeka cared for them, and slowly she began to trust him. One day, Emeka asked Nneka to marry him. Nneka was happy and she said yes. They had a small wedding with Mama Nkechi and their close friends. Nkem and Obinna continued to work on their marriage. They found new ways to love and support each other. They never forgot the pain of the past, but they used it to go stronger together. Nneka, Emeka, and Chima lived happily with Mama Nkechi. They planted vegetables, cooked meals, and laughed a lot. They made new friends in the village and were very happy. Nneka thanked God every day for her new family and the new love she found. Chima grew up fast. He was a happy boy, always smiling and playing. Soon, it was time for Chima to start school. Nneka was excited and also a little nervous. She wanted Chima to do well in school and also make new friends. On Chima's first day at school, Nneka and Emeka walked him to the school gates. Chima held his mother's hand tightly. The school was big with many children running around. Chima felt a little scared but also excited. Nneka knelt down and looked into Chima's eyes. She said, "Be brave, my son. Listen to your teachers and be kind to other children. You will do great." Chima nodded and gave his mother a big hug. At school, Chima met many new children. He was shy at first, but soon he made friends with a boy named Kelechi and a girl named Ifoma. They played together during break time and shared their snacks together. Chima loved school and learned many new things every day. Every afternoon, Nneka would ask Chima about his day at school. Chima would tell her about his new friends, his teachers, and all the fun things he did. Nneka was very proud of Chima. One sunny day, Mama Nkechi came to visit Chima at school. She brought him a big basket of fruits and snacks. Chima was very happy to see his grandmother. He showed her around the school and introduced her to his friends. Mama Nkechi told Chima's friends many interesting stories from the village. The children sat around her, listening with wide eyes. Mama Nkechi's stories made everyone laugh and felt happy. At home, Nneka, Emeka, and Chima lived happily together. They worked in the garden, cooked delicious meals, and spent time with Mama Nkechi. Every evening, they sat together and told stories or sang songs. Their house was filled with love and laughter. Emeka loved Chima like he was his own son. He taught Chima how to fix things and helped him with his homework. Chima looked up to Emeka and loved him very much. Emeka was grateful for Nneka's love and care towards them. One day, Nkem and Obinna decided to visit Nneka and Chima. They decided to see how they were doing and make sure that they were happy. Nneka was surprised but welcomed them warmly. Nkem and Obinna were happy to see Nneka and Chima doing well. They played with Chima and talked with Nneka. They were glad to see that Nneka had found new love and happiness with Emeka. During their visits, Nkem took Nneka aside and she said, "I am sorry for all the pains you went through. I am glad that you are very happy now." Nneka smiled and said, "Thank you, madam. I have forgiven you and Obinna. I am happy now, and that is what matters most to me." Nkem felt a weight lifted off her shoulders. She was happy that Nneka had forgiven them. Obinna also apologized to Nneka. He was glad to see her happy and at peace. After their visit, Nkem and Obinna returned to the city. They felt better knowing that Nneka and Chima were doing well. They continued to work on their marriage. Nneka, Emeka, and Chima continued to live happily in the village. They were grateful for their little family and few friends. They knew that life could be hard, but with love and support, they could overcome everything. Another interesting story is dropping soon. Subscribe to this channel for you not to miss it. It is free.